What up, what up, what up, what up? It's me, L Teddy 27.
What's good? It's night right about the hood.
Oh, dear God. I'm already eating and drinking. Look a damn mess. Just a damn mess. No means no, and yes means no. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's me, L Teddy 27. What's up, people? What's up, what's up, what's up? I am back. I'm back for yet another review. This is going to be our review, ladies and gentlemen, for ClickBAIT. This is season 1. It is episode 2. It is entitled The Detective. Now, so much happened this episode. Let's get right down to it. So they're at the van. They found the little van or whatever where they figured out that they were taping these videos or whatnot. And of course the van is empty. They see the little sheets and everything that lets them know that is the right van, but it's empty. He ain't there. Nobody's in it. The press is there. They're swarming and everything. They go back to the police station, and this lady, at first I thought she was the police chief. I think we later found out she's sergeant or whatever. She's in charge of everybody. But she announces to everybody that this is now going from a missing persons to a homicide case. And so now Detective Amiri, that's the Muslim guy who's been, hitting the case, is now, his role is going to be diminished because homicide is taken over. And so now this older detective guy, I think his name is DeLuca or whatever, is in charge. He's a dick. That's the one who was being a dick last episode. Anyway, so DeLuca, the older guy, is going to be in charge. The younger detective Amiri really wants to help out. The older detective basically just wants him to stay out of the way, because they said that the daughter was not the daughter, God, the wife Sophie is on her way, and they have to interview her again. He was like, "Can I be in there?" He was like, "No, you can take her home when we done." A mess. Anyway, Sophie comes to the station, and she get, they're in there questioning her. We can't hear what she's being asked or anything. But after she's done, he takes her, Detective Amiri got to take her home. So Amiri's taking her home. And when they get there, the press is swarming, and, it's mayhem at the house or whatnot outside. The police are inside, searching the inside, scouring for any and everything they can find at this point inside the house. Detective Amiri asks for Pia to come with him outside. They go outside, they go in the car, and he talks to Pia, and Pia plays for him the voicemail. At first, Detective tells Pia that his role is going to be diminished now that it's a homicide case, and that he's not going to be able to be as involved as he was before. And so we also find out that Nick's passport is missing. That's another thing. Anyway, I went too early before Pia plays the voicemail for him. The detective went in to go talk to Ethan, the oldest son. This is Detective Amiri. And Ethan shows Amiri this app, and this is an app where people are searching for Nick, and they're scouring the city, marking off areas that they've searched where they haven't found him, but just to show, okay, we've searched this area, y'all don't have to come search this area anymore. And they're calling it geo-nicking. That's the verb that they came up with when you're out searching for him. And so the comment section is real unruly. Like, they already taking dabs on, dibs on how much they're going to pay for each part of Nick's body that they find. A mess. Amiri shows the police sergeant lady he goes back to the police station. He showed the police sergeant lady the app or whatnot, and she's not here for it. She was like, I'm not here for this. Moving on. And so after that, And after that, she tells him that the family does still want Amiri to be a liaison for them, so he still gets to be involved with the case. So the older detective, Detective DeLuca, tells Amiri, go listen, go home, get you some rest. You've been working 20 plus hours, go get some rest. So he leaves and he don't go home. He goes to these woods and he's going out to do some geonicking of himself for himself. And he sees these young kids that are these young boys that are out searching or whatever. He scares them off, saying, "Hey, this is the police, whatever." And then he goes to the mosque, and he goes to the mosque and does his prayers or whatever. He goes by his parents' house. So we kind of get some of the background information on um, Detective Amiri. We find out, his mom and his dad are supportive of him being a police officer. His mom thinks he works too much, though. He has a little sister, and they are aware that he's trying to move up to homicide. That's his whole thing. He wants to move up to homicide, and he wants to, climb higher in the police business. I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad. The other people seem to be mad about him trying to do that. I don't got no problem with it. But it is what it is. The next day, Sophie, they're at home. The police are at home, and they ask Sophie to make a statement to the press. So she comes out in front of her house making this statement about, bring my husband home. I love you, husband. If you can still hear me, this, that, and the third. The same old, same old. Doting wife crying and whatnot. Even though she didn't cry, she held it together. She was real stoic. And just like once again, way too calm for me. Anyway, after this statement was made by Sophie, this is the part where Pia takes Amiri into the car and plays the voicemail that Nick left her that night, saying that something's going on. He needs to talk to her about it. And so Amiri is like, "Why you ain't show us this earlier?" He was like, "Well, anyway, can I use this? Can I, take your phone and we can go through it and use it?" She was like, "Sure, yes. I have nothing to hide. You can take whatever you need." So he takes the phone. He goes back to the police station and plays the voicemail for the sergeant chief lady or whatnot. And he tells her there might be about the conflict of interest that he might have because doom, 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 him and Pia done been on one of these dating apps, Tinder or something like that, and they done talked before. Now they ain't had no hookup, they ain't had no bust down, but they did talk and communicate, and they was chatting it up with each other on this dating app. And so there might be a conflict of interest. And she said, "Well, can you still be objective on this case?" He says, "Yes." She said, "Well, I'm not gonna take you off the case." And so when he goes out the sergeant's office, he goes over to his desk, and baby, Detective DeLuca and all of the other detectives over there done printed out and blew up pictures of him from the dating app with him all, half naked, showing his muscles and stuff and all of that stuff. And they don't put it all around his desk and stuff, teasing him, ragging on him about being on the dating app or whatever. And then Amiri had this big confrontation with Detective DeLuca and was like, basically trying to confront the man and saying that you don't like me because I'm Muslim. And he looked at him very matter of factly with his white privilege and white supremacy and says, "It's because you're arrogant and you're not a team player." What else he said? Um, and you always keep info for yourself, and you're just using this case to help climb the ladder. Quiet as it's kept. That's what all y'all do there. And now y'all got a problem with him doing this simply because, like he said, he is Muslim. Because each one of you white men and women in that place probably did the same thing. Kept the information until it was, advantageous to you. Didn't play with the team if it didn't benefit you. Don't try to come in there holier than thou. But we know what it's about. I was with Amiri. We know what this is about. This ain't got nothing to do with all of that other stuff. It's about him being Muslim. Anyway, but he warned Amiri and told Amiri, "I am the senior detective here, and if you ever talk to me like that, that's gonna be a problem." I guess. Anyway, they then got heard over the radio. They found a lead. They found the place where Nick's bike was. So they found this Nick's bike right off this trail, right off the route where he normally rides the bike. And the bike is there, and they find a syringe, so they think that maybe they drugged him. That's the syringe they used to drug Nick when they kidnapped him or whatnot. And so they find all that information. Amiri goes back to Sophie's house after that, and now Sophie's mother is there, Ruby, black lady, older black lady. She's not here for, can I help you? Why are you here? I'm with the police. Show me your badge. I was here for Mama. Mama Sophie, Ruthie, whatever her name is, Ruby, I think her name is. She wasn't here for it. She wasn't here for it. So then Sophie dismisses. Well, no. Amiri asks Sophie, can he talk to her alone? And he takes her to the side, plays the little voicemail, and said, "Listen, y'all having some marital issues." And she kind of went off on him and said, "Listen, are you married? Because all marriages have issues. We're no different." And she basically dismissed him because she was like, "How dare you come in here and try to accuse me of killing my husband? What are you doing to find my husband?" Anyway, um, she dismisses him. Um, and so forth. Now, before she dismissed him, she made it a point to tell Detective Amiri, listen, yeah, Pia had that on her phone, but what she can tell you that he was really talking to her about the fact that they had just got into a very heated and contentious argument that night, and that's why she left. And that's what he was calling her for, because they had a heated fight that very night when he was before he was abducted. So now Detective Amiri goes over to Pia's house. He's trying to connect dots now. And he tells Pia, why you ain't tell me about the fight? You telling me everything else. You claim you ain't got nothing to hide. What about this fight? Pia says Charlie wasn't all that. It wasn't. That's not what this is about. Did she? I'm sure she didn't tell you this information that I got. How about the fact that the day after my birthday on March 16th, he showed me some bruises he had on his ribs, and told me not to tell his wife about it. Tell Sophie about it. She didn't tell you that because I didn't tell her, and she didn't even know about that. Why aren't y'all looking at that? And y'all here looking at me. So, and Nick said that he got that because he got elbowed by one of the basketball players down to the job, and nobody believes him. Pia then gets an alert on the little GeoNicking app that they found Nick's body, and so her and the detective rush out there, and it's out in the water, on the rocks off the water or whatever, and it's a little mannequin doll that they take a picture of Nick's face to the head of the mannequin, just a mess. So Amiri then drops her home and tells her that pretty much, listen, we done with your phone. I'll try and get it back to you as soon as I can. He goes back to the mosque to go pray. On his way out the mosque, he sees his baby mama and his child. Now the baby mama is waiting for her new boo who's inside and about to come out. But she was like, "Oh, can we switch weekends with Arya, with his child Arya?" And he was like, "Okay," because she was like, "Yeah," because Baki, I think that's the new boo name, Baki, wants to take all of us to Yellowstone. So it'll be better if we switch weekends. He was like, "Okay, whatever." You can tell he ain't feeling it. He's feeling some kind of way. So we started to get a lot of background information on Detective Amiri this episode. Anyway, he goes home and he starts to do some real detective work. Okay, so he finds out that you can ping the locations of where Nick has been over the last, a period of time. So he goes back to that date, March 16th, and I think the day before or whatever, um, and finds that Nick was at some bar. So he goes to the bar and sees that they have surveillance camera inside, and asks to see the surveillance camera. Sure enough, he watched the surveillance camera. Nick was there. Nick gets into a fight. Now the bartender says, I don't know if it was the bartender or the owner. He said, "I remember those two. I had to kick both of them out because apparently they got into a fight and they were fighting and they had to be kicked out." It was a big black man who had on this shirt that had like this design on the back of the shirt. So then Detective Amiri asks, "Can he take the tape?" And the guy lets him take it. So he takes it back to the police station and shows it to um, shows it to the other detective and the sergeant. But then he asks Pia to come and meet him there. He showed the tape to Pia. But my question was, why are you not showing this to the wife? You over here showing this to Pia. What about the wife? She's not the right person to be showing this to. I'm just inquiring. Inquiring minds want to know why you showing this to Pia and not to the wife. But I guess Detective DeLuca, the older one, asks, is over there trying to figure out where they're gonna search next because they got a large terrain to try and search. And so Detective DeLuca asks Amiri, since you got all these bright ideas, what we do? And so he was like, "Oh, you coming back over here with this app or whatever?" He was like, "Listen, if the people that already did the hard work for us, why not use the information that they done or the hard work that they done did and not check the areas that they already say been checked?" And so he said, "Listen, there's just one part nobody has checked. It's kind of it's kind of off in the cut, and nobody really has checked there yet. Let's go and check there." So they go search at this park because it's remote and stuff like that. They go, sure enough, they find Nick. He dead and gone. Because it was some other, because Nick, Amiri had started to get all these messages from the app, and the messages were coming up, coming up. We found him, we found him, we found him, we found Nick. And so there was some guys that were there geo-nicking or whatever. He told them, police, go away. And he went over there, and there, sure enough, the body was laid out there. He called, Amir goes to Pia's house, and he lets her know he's dead. Now, my question is this. Once again, we see you paying all this attention to Pia. What about the wife? You think you might have wanted to tell the wife? Anyway, he tells Pia. Pia breaks down, and then he goes back to the police station. While he's at the police station, when he walks in, he finds out, I guess he's been promoted to homicide and everything. And one of the other detectives is telling him that, listen, I'm still going through the wife's social media, just, in case. And so he was like, well, let me help you out. And so he starts to go through her social media as well. And so on one of her social media posts, there's this picture of her with some black guy. And the black guy, you see the black guy from behind, and you see that same image or picture that was on the back of the black guy that was in the surveillance tape that fought Nick at that bar. And so the detectives start to put two and two together and starts to think maybe the wife is involved. I told you I thought from the beginning the wife was involved. And it goes on from there. We getting down to the nitty gritty, y'all. It's getting good. So next episode I saw is titled The Wife. So now we really gonna get down to the nitty gritty. I'm telling you, it's either the wife got something to do with it or that oldest son. One of those two. I don't know which one. That's all we got for now, y'all. Until next time, that's all I got for y'all. I'll be back. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.